So you decided to write and publish a book, and then you discovered now you have to do all the marketing as well. If you don't know where to start and you're practicing RAM marketing, random acts of marketing, then listen as I talk to my guest, Nadine Mullings of the Nadine Mullings Marketing Agency today. She's going to share with us the best B.E.S.T marketing strategy, and she's going to help us to go from random to intentional. You don't want to miss this episode. Welcome, awesome authors. You are listening to the Answering the Call to Write podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Farndale, and this episode is brought to you by Paper Crown Media. Hello, awesome authors. Thank you so much for joining us. It's me, Melissa Farndale, your host of the Answering the Call to Write podcast, and I am joined by the beautiful Nadine Mullings. She is an entrepreneur, a business coach, an author, a podcast host, and CEO of Nadine Mullings Marketing Agency. And this is not the first time she's been on this podcast. This is the second time. I met her probably nearly a year ago now, when she came to share her wisdom with us in this podcast. And I'm so excited for you to get to know her a little bit better. So I just want to tell you a little bit about her. She has a master's in business administration and has specialized in marketing. Now, I know for many authors, when we wake up to the reality of the responsibility of having to market our books, it's quite sobering. And I know one of the questions when I ask my guests on this podcast, what is the most challenging part of being an author? It's usually marketing. So Nadine, I'm so thankful for you and so grateful that you're here to share some wisdom with us. And I can't wait to hear what you have to share with us today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to be on the podcast. Thank you so much for the invitation, Melissa. And I can't wait to share with your audience. So thank you.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're from Florida, but you are originally from the UK, right? So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit more about just you and what you like to do. What is your passion?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I was actually born in London, England. My parents made the decision to move to the United States when I was 9. So I grew up in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. But my roots are definitely still in the UK. I have all my extended family members over there, aunts, uncles, cousins. If I want to feel, I know before Melissa and I talked about, when you want to feel like family and at home, being around all of your extended people, sometimes it means going to a different place. For me, that different place is London, because that's where most of my extended family members are. So I grew up in the United States, in Florida specifically. And I think from a very young age, I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. If you think about kids playing games, a lot of times we play games like nurses and doctors and teachers. For some reason, I was playing business owner.
Oh,
So
wow.
at 7, 8 years old, I was planning on running a business. I think
Awesome.
a lot of times in life, those are just kind of breadcrumbs or just things that kind of give you hints of what's to come in the future when you don't have the pressure of the world of what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it, but you're just simply praying. I think that really gives you the opportunity to really see what your soul is saying about what you desire to do in life and in business. So I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur from a very young age, but I took the traditional path, right? So I got an education, as you mentioned, I have an MBA, and my specialization is e-commerce and marketing. And I had got a traditional job, and I worked for a financial institution actually for over 15 years doing marketing and promoting. And I actually loved my job. I'm one of those rare individuals that went to school for a particular thing, did that particular thing, and loved that particular thing. But there was a time back in 2011, 2010, at least in the economy in the United States, things were a little bit shaky. And the position that I was in was eliminated. And they offered me a different position, which was a position in the mortgage department. So it wasn't marketing, it was mortgage for half of my salary. And I had an opportunity at that time to make a decision. The decision was, do I stay with the company for half of my salary doing something that I really don't enjoy or want to do? Or do I take a leap of faith and trust God on this spiritual journey that He already put in my spirit of being an entrepreneur? So I took the severance package money that they gave me, but I used that as seed money. And I
Mhm.
think that's really, I find a lot of times people that have been laid off or redundant or whatever you call it in your country, some people call it different words, laid off, redundant, whatever you call it. To me, a lot of times that's a push for God to push you on another path. And so it was my push to start my business, and I officially started in 2012. So I was laid off in 2011, kind of took a vacation, went on vacation, kind of tried to wrap my brain around what do I do next in life. And then the idea of my business was birthed, and I officially incorporated and started working my business in 2012. So at the time of this recording, it's been over 10 years that I started
Wow.
my own business. Yeah. So I feel like I talk a lot about business, right? I'm always talking business personally. I think you said, tell me about yourself. I always lean towards the business side. Personally, I am single, so I'm not married and I don't have any children. But I love to travel. Traveling is like my passion and my joy. At one time, I had a goal of visiting a new country every single year. So every year I wanted to visit a new country. I've been to Africa. I know Malisa's from South Africa. I've been to South Africa. Cape Town is amazing and gorgeous. And I've been to Kenya. Safari in Kenya was amazing. Costa Rica. There's so many places to see in the world. And honestly, that's what sparks joy for me. So travel is my thing. And also food. I'm a big foodie, so I love good food. So travel and food and culture is really my thing. So that I guess is a little bit about me.
I love that. I love that. So I know you have like a real mission to help people with marketing their books and their businesses. And I think for a lot of authors, they discover that writing and publishing a book, you are actually starting a business of some sort. You have to take the responsibility for the marketing of that book and making sure that message gets to a broader audience.
Yep.
Um, and I know it's quite daunting for a lot of us. We don't always sign up to do the marketing part or the business part because we are creative people and we want to focus on our writing or our creative projects. And then getting to grips with that business side can be quite tricky.
Yeah.
Now, I know you have created your marketing planner, and I want to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about your goal behind that marketing planner or why you created it and who that marketing planner is for.
Yeah. So my goal behind the marketing planner was to be able to provide a resource or a tool for entrepreneurs and business owners to really lay out their marketing plan. What I found when I started my business over 10 years ago, the biggest gap in the market is people don't have a written marketing plan. They say that they want to market and promote their book, their business, their brand, whatever it is. But when you ask them, do you have a marketing plan? Do you have something in writing that we can look at and follow? 90% of people will say no. And so I felt like, wow, this is a major gap in the market. There has to be some type of resource, some type of tool, because I can't help everybody like create their plans. So the goal of the Best Marketing Planner was to really provide that resource, provide that tool. So at the end of the planner, they have a marketing plan. They just went through all the different sections of the planner, and now they have their 90-day marketing plan to help them grow their business. So the vision, the goal, the purpose of the book was really to be a resource to help entrepreneurs and business owners decrease that gap of not having an actual written marketing plan for their business, and to be able to use the planner as a way to create that written marketing plan and to simplify the process too. I think a lot of times the reason why business owners don't have a plan is because they feel intimidated or overwhelmed by by creating a plan. So I'll be absolutely honest and vulnerable. One of the things that, some businesses do is they have a business plan. And so when you create a business plan, that can be overwhelming and intimidating. So even creating a business, and the marketing plan is just a piece of a business plan. So sometimes we don't have a business plan. I don't necessarily always have a business plan written down either. So having that guide, having that resource, having that tool to help you simplify the process of writing a marketing plan was the vision, was the goal, was the idea for business owners and entrepreneurs. So that was the idea for the book.
I think that's so important. Just from experience, I know what I have done with my marketing oftentimes was treat it like just, spaghetti. You kind of throw it out and hope something sticks to the wall. you know,
Yes, yes.
you and it's very kind of off the cuff, on the fly, not really intentionally thinking about what am I doing, and you end up wasting a lot of time. And
Yes.
the gift of planning is just that you get to do things with more intention. You get to save time in the long run. Sometimes it can almost feel counterproductive taking the time out to go and
Yep.
sit and plan the marketing, but in my experience I have found that when I plan my marketing and I schedule it all out and I know what I'm doing, then it takes so much stress out of
Mhm.
my day-to-day life, because I don't have to think about marketing on a day-to-day basis. It's just running on its own. um
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. You said two important things. I think a lot of people, and I use this terminology RAM, are practicing RAM, which is random acts of marketing. And when you practice RAM, random acts of marketing, let me try this, let me do this, I'm not really sure. Yes, it's important to test different things, but when you're not being strategic or specific or even spirit-led with your marketing initiatives, it can lead to overwhelm and burnout because there's 1,001 ways to market and promote your business. So I think, I feel like a plan really helps you to eliminate that overwhelm and help you to be organized. It really helps you to be less random and more strategic so you can reach the people that you're called to serve in the marketplace. That's all a plan really does. If you don't want to be overwhelmed, have a plan. If you don't want to be disorganized, have a plan. If, that really is what a plan does. Because planning can sound boring, and a lot of people, like you said, don't necessarily want to take the time out to do it. But a lot of people don't want to be overwhelmed. A lot of people don't want to be stressed. A lot of people want to be clear on what they're doing to market and promote their business, and that's what a plan does for you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the best, I love the title, by the way, the best marketing planner. You've got that acronym
Yep.
B.E.S.T. What does that
Yes.
stand for?
Yeah, so BEST is a God thing. God just drops the acronym BEST in my spirit all the time. I tell you no lie, I have about three different BESTs. It's like three different versions of the BEST, right? But for the BEST planner with that first book that I put out, it was all about B is for build, E is engage, S is for sharing, and T is for tracking. So it really is about building, engaging, serving, and tracking. If you really think about creating a marketing plan that's going to build, is going to engage, is going to serve and share and track, then that's basically all of the things that you need to cover in your marketing plan in order to be efficient, effective, and really reach the people that you're called to serve. So BEST stands for building, engaging, serving slash sharing, and tracking.
Awesome. Awesome. So, um, what advice would you give to someone who has just published their book and they are frustrated because it's not getting off the shelf, it's not getting into the hands of the people who need it? What would you say to that person?
Well, I'd love to walk them through the best marketing strategy. So I'll do it briefly, as brief as I can in the minute time that we have together. I know I shared what the acronym stands for, but what's underneath each one of those things is really what helps you to market and promote your book, your business, or your brand. So the B with building is, a lot of times people teach about building your email list, right? Your email list is an important asset to have people that have opted in to get information from you, permission marketing, all that good stuff. But your email list is just a piece of what you need to be building. There's three things that I talk about in the planner that you need to be building. You need to build an audience, people that are consuming your content, following you, engaging with you on social media. So building an audience is key. And usually you do that online. It could be things like blogging, it could be social media, it could be YouTube. How are you building an audience of people that consume your content? So that's one thing that you need to build. The second thing that you need to build is really building your network. Business and anything in general, including selling your book, is about relationships. So making sure you're building your network, whether that's building your network online through platforms like LinkedIn, where you're making those online connections, or even platforms like Facebook. It's all about connecting and networking and reaching out to people to build your network. So that's more about relationship building when it comes to building your network. And then the other thing is building your email list. So audience, network, and email list, the people that have given you permission to reach out to them via email. Those are the things that you should really focus on building. So whenever you have an offer, a book, a business, a brand to put out into the world, you have that already established. You've been growing and intentional about building your audience, building your network, and building your email list, which are actually three separate things. One person can be on all three. One person could be following you on social media. One person could be that same person could be on your email list. And that same person could be a relationship, a connection that you made through networking. But sometimes they're not on all three. Sometimes it's a network connection. Sometimes it's somebody following on social media. Sometimes they're just on your email list. So be intentional about building all three: audience, an email list, and your network.
Yeah.
The E is all about engaging. This is more like content marketing. So what content are you going to consistently put out there to engage your audience, to engage your network, to engage your email list? So each one of those things you engage differently. Engaging your network could be reaching out to people that you met at a networking event locally and just saying, hi, how are you? It's great to connect with you. I'd love to do a virtual coffee and learn more about you, right? That's engaging your network. Engaging your email list could be once a week, you're sending out an email to let them know what's going on, or to give them offers, or to just connect with them in some way. And then engaging on social media is creating content that people see on your social media networks. So the E is about engaging. How are you engaging in those three areas? The S is about serving and sharing. Serving, I look at as more of your programs. When people actually purchase things, they're more committed to doing the work and getting the results. So how are you serving people? By offering programs, it could be small, low ticket items, mid ticket, high ticket, but serving is really selling, right? What are you selling and what are you sharing? That is the S factor of serving. Then T is the thing that a lot of people forget to do, which is track. So once you're doing all these great things, building your audience, engaging and serving, now you have to track it. What are your results like? How many people have actually converted? Is your audience growing? Is your network growing? Are you making sales, right, from serving? So looking at the numbers is a key piece of your marketing strategy and your marketing plan that a lot of people just eliminate. They just continue to do the things, but they're not looking back at the numbers, because the numbers don't lie. The numbers will tell you what's working and what's not over a period of time. So I guess that's the quickest way I could go through the best marketing planner, is the build,
Wow.
engage, serve, and track, and some going a little bit deeper on each one of those.
Yeah, that's amazing. There's so much in there. There's so much treasure in there that you could spend the time. I think you'll have to re-listen to this podcast a few times to make note of all of that, because it is absolute treasure and absolute gold. So Nadine, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yes.
We are going to go a lot deeper, or a little bit deeper, into this B.E.S.T marketing strategy in the Paper Crown Media mentoring subscription. So
Yeah.
if you are interested in joining that, then the link will be in the description of this video. But before we close the podcast, I want to ask you a question that I ask everybody that comes on, and that is, what do you love most or enjoy most about what you do?
Ooh, I love just seeing the ahas and breakthroughs in my clients. Like when we reach like say for example, when we create a mission statement for them or a vision statement and they like light up like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I wanted to say or how I wanted to say it. That to me brings me joy and sparks joy for me because it really is about that ripple effect for me. It's not just the work that I do with my clients, it's the work that my clients do. And when they're successful, I'm successful. So I think what really lights me out, what really brings me joy, and what I love most about the work that I'm doing is my clients and the impact that they make and how I can help them to make a bigger impact through the work that they do with me.
Awesome. I also want to remind people to go and watch the first episode that I did with Nadine on spirit-led marketing. That was such
Mm.
a powerful episode. I'll put a link in the description area to that episode as well. And then before we go, Nadine, how can people connect with you if they want to learn more about what you do and to work with you?
Yeah, definitely. The best way to connect with me will be on my website, which is just my name, Nadine, Nadine Mullings, Mullings. So connect with me on my website. I am on social, so I have a Facebook page. I am on LinkedIn and Instagram. Those are the three main platforms that I'm on: LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. So if you want to connect with me on social media, you can do that too, but definitely on my website.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Nadine, for sharing your wisdom with us. And thank you, everybody, for listening, for tuning in. And remember to join us in the Paper Crown Media subscription if you want to know more about the B.E.S.T marketing strategy. Thanks so much. Bye.